He missed the last bus and found the first people who truly heard him. If you've ever felt invisible in a crowded city, you are not alone. Leave a like and stay tuned. What happens at the end will amaze you. Owen Hart wasn't used to being out late. He wasn't used to much of anything lately, not since his mother passed. He stood at a lonely bus stop on the edge of the city, the streetlights flickering above him like they were too tired to stay awake. Cars rushed by without slowing. People hurried past without looking up. And Owen just stood there, a quiet accountant in a suit that didn't quite fit him anymore, holding a life that didn't quite feel like his. He stared at the bus schedule, though he'd memorized it 100 times. The night air felt colder than it should have. Or maybe he was just still feeling hollow inside, the kind of hollow grief that digs so deep it becomes a shape you learn to carry. As the bus rounded the corner, he took a step forward, but the doors never opened. It flew right past him in a blur of yellow and headlights. The last bus, gone. He closed his eyes, letting the silence swallow him whole. Then he heard something strange. A sound, soft and barely audible. A humming, like distant bees, or someone trying to remember a tune they weren't sure they should be singing. Owen turned to check where it was coming from. Behind the shelter, in the shadows where the streetlights didn't reach, something moved. A voice whispered, "Start from the top." Then he heard more humming, then a second voice, and a third, until it formed a fragile, trembling harmony, the kind strangers make when they don't know each other's names, only each other's pain. Owen hesitated, stepping carefully toward the sound. There, tucked behind the bus shelter, sat a small group of people bundled in layers of mismatched jackets. A man in construction boots tapped a rhythm on his knee. A college kid with tear-bright eyes matched his tune. A middle-aged woman hummed softly with her eyes closed, breathing through something heavy. They all looked up when they noticed Owen. "You can join us if you want," the woman said gently. Owen shook his head. "I'm okay." "You don't have to sing," another added. "Just sit. Sometimes that's enough." But Owen backed away. Then the woman tried the next line of the song. Her voice cracked just a little in that painful, familiar way. It was the same lullaby Owen's mother used to hum when he couldn't sleep from nightmares as a child. He froze. Something inside him shifted. Something he thought he had buried too deep to ever reach again. He hadn't let himself feel anything since the funeral. Not anger, not sadness, not love, and definitely not music. Grief had stolen the sound out of his world. His apartment was silent. His mornings were silent. Even his heart was silent. But that cracked note, that one imperfect, trembling sound, hit him like a hand on his shoulder. He stepped closer, without meaning to. The woman looked up and smiled, as if she'd been waiting for him. They introduced themselves one by one. A welder who moved to the city for work and never made a single friend. A college student who felt like she'd somehow fallen out of her own life. A mother who lost custody of her son and didn't know how to live in the quiet anymore. And the man tapping his knee finally said it plainly. "We meet here because if we go home alone every night, we don't know how we'll wake up the next morning. The singing helps. It gives us something to hold on to." Owen's breath caught. They weren't singing for fun. They were singing for survival. And now, they were asking if he wanted to survive with them. He didn't stay long that first night. Just long enough to sit in the circle, listen, and let his heartbeat remember what warmth felt like. When he walked home, the city didn't seem as loud. The next night, he came back. But this time, he wasn't empty-handed. He brought the lullaby, his mother's lullaby, the one she used to sing to calm storms in his chest, the one he thought he'd lost the night she died. They all listened as he sang, every stranger in that cold patch of concrete, like his voice was something fragile and sacred. And when he finished, the harmony they built around him felt like a blanket he didn't know he needed. For the first time in months, Owen didn't feel alone. He came to realize that sometimes healing isn't a moment. It's not a miracle. It's not a grand epiphany. Sometimes healing is a chorus waiting in the dark, a handful of lonely people keeping each other alive, one trembling note at a time. And maybe, just maybe, It only takes missing one last bus to find the people who finally hear you. If this story touched you, let us know in the comments. Please leave a like and share as well, because someone out there is waiting for a sign that loneliness ends the moment someone sees you. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more True Humanity Chronicles. Stories that remind us what it really means to be human.